Juan Carlos Romero Hicks is a champion of higher education in Latin America and a leader of international education and cooperation. A member of the Mexican Congress of the Union, Senor Romero Hicks has worked to create a vibrant post-secondary education system in Mexico and the Americas. He taught at the University of Guanajuato for almost 30 years and served as the university's Secretary General, Chancellor, and President. Educated in both the United States and Mexico, Congressman Romero Hicks has collaborated with colleagues to further academic excellence and cross-cultural understanding throughout the whole continent. He has served as president of the International Organization for Higher Education, the Consortium of North American Higher Education Collaboration, and the Amundsen Institute of U.S.-Mexico Studies. He was elected governor of the state of Guanajuato from 2000 to 2006, as federal senator from 2011 to 2017, and just this past July, Mr. Juan Carlos Romero Hicks was elected to the Mexican Chamber of Deputies as his minority leader for the National Action Party. Congressman Romero Hicks has also focused on protecting human rights. He served on Guanajuato's State Commission for Human Rights and advocates on behalf of Mexican migrants in the United States and elsewhere. For his determination to create a world-class system of education in his country and the Americas, and his unwavering commitment to international friendship and cooperation, it is truly my honor to present Juan Carlos Romero Hicks for the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Congressman Romero Hicks, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Royal Roads University Act and on the recommendation of the university's Board of Governors, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges that thereto appertain. Congressman Romero Hicks will now be hooded by Dr. Steve Grundy, Vice President, Academic and Provo. President Alan Cahoon will now present Dr. Romero Hicks with his degree. And with great pleasure, I now call upon Dr. Romero Hicks to deliver the convocation address.
Buenos días. Good morning. Les extiendo mi mano y les abro mi corazón. Les traigo un saludo de Guanajuato y de México. I extend my warmest greetings with a firm handshake and an open heart. And I bring greetings from Guanajuato and Mexico. I feel honored, privileged, and grateful to be here today. I bring you a strong abrazo from Mexico and my home state, the cradle of Mexican independence. La gratitud es la memoria del corazón. Gratitude is the memory of the heart. Lao Tse. My first words intend to be of gratitude to Kathleen Burney, Chancellor, Alan Cahoon, President and Vice Chancellor, all the authorities, the faculty, and the people that are here with us today. When I received the communication of this award, my first thoughts were that we need to be humble. The word humble comes from the Latin humus, tierra, the land. And what we're doing today, and it is a great occasion because you turn to the land, to the fertility of the people that gave us an extraordinary legacy, and that's what is going on here in British Columbia. I would like to address the issues of international affairs and education. I met Alan Cahoon some years ago when he was working in higher education, and I must recognize the fact that his language skills in Spanish were quite limited. Today, that is no longer the case. Being bilingual is like having two hands. Being bicultural is being able to play the piano. And that's what Alan and what all these people with the Aborigines and Indigenous legacy are doing for all of us. Today, Royal Roads is a world-class institution with a distinct mandate, interdisciplinary approach, unique programs, proactive applied research, and obviously, innovation is the key engine. What is innovation? Innovation is being able to think of what nobody else has thought before. And when I look at the class that is graduating today, this is particularly an extraordinary moment and a distinct opportunity to speak here. Worldwide, it is known that your nation is conceiving what kind of relationship you will have with the rest of the world, and Mexico is part of this. Perhaps we should ask ourselves how we can be partners, friends, and neighbors. So today I speak feeling the highest responsibility, and I will do my best to speak on the voice, the dreams, the fears, and the values of all Mexicans. I will try to summarize all in a simple statement. We want to be friends, we should be friends, and we will be friends. Friendship is described by Aristotle. It's simply a relationship between two, where the two individuals share goals and work together for achievement. And if we accept the challenge to move further in our relationship, we must start with the basics. St. Augustine once said, "You cannot love what you cannot know." And we need to know each other. It takes an enormous effort to know each other. I like to say frequently that when we listen to others, we run the risk of learning. Let's continue to take that risk. Years ago, I had a marvelous English teacher that would recite to us the following statement: good, better, best, never let them rest until your good is better and your better best. So that's the challenge that we have before us. The world is changing faster than our ability to understand it. But no country can face the future alone, not even the wealthiest one, not even one with the biggest economy. And in the history of our nations, we face many temptations. Blaming our neighbor is one of them. And most of the time, there is no one to blame, and blame is not going to fix our problems. If we fall into this blaming spiral, we will end really upset with each other and with no solutions at all. Instead, we can be responsible. Yes, responsibility, a word that is not often used in solving our problems, except that when we are dealing with the past. It's the word that we should start using more responsibility, which means the ability to find the answers. It means that it doesn't matter who causes the problem, who matters or what matters is who charts the solution, and we will say it out loud. Mexico is in part responsible for what happens in other parts of the world, and so is Canada. In the case of North America, we share the biggest trade region in the world. The commerce with NAFTA is the largest commerce. It's even larger than the European region. And we trade so much that we need to go beyond the human touch, the heart, the mind, the soul, the human interaction that we can make our nations. And one of the challenges before us is that we should be trying to develop a better notion, such as what Robert Pastor would postulate, of a North American community. Not only goods and services, but people to people, the human touch, the movement, and this is the moment to change the approach. If we're talking about building our friendship, founding our common goals, we should be addressing our goals and our dreams. And in Mexico, we would like to dream with Canada of a region that could overcome poverty. We dream of a region that lives in peace. We dream of a region that without fear from domestic or foreign threats can do things better. We dream of a wealthier region where human rights are fully respected. We dream of a region that has solved environmental threats, the scarcity of water, the production of our food, and that faces the future in something shiny and thrilling, not in something dark and scary. But the key to achieving this is collaboration, and this is where the universities take place. In Spanish, the word labor, labor, is related to the word labrar. Labrar means to farm, and that's what we should be doing. Farming our future together, which means choosing the seeds together, planting the seeds together, and guarding them together. If we farm our future isolated from each other, then we'll be destroying our lands. If I may just speak briefly regarding Mexico. 3 elements. Number one, Mexico is changing. Secondly, I'd like to address civic nationalism. And lastly, globalization. What is going on in Mexico? In the last July 1st elections, Mexico took a radical turn and voted overwhelmingly for a different type of government. Is this going to be better? We don't know. We hope it will be. And we all know the formula. Discredited politicians and the inability of the governments to reduce poverty, insecurity, and corruption open the doors for new governments. And sometimes, and I do fear this in our case, a government of occurrences and radical ideas. A few days ago, for instance, the President-elect of Mexico called a consultation, which was organized by his own political party, to define a fate of a new international airport. And with the vote of 1% of the electorate, he tells us that the other 99% need to follow. The new airport, he's telling us, should be stopped, and better we continue with momentary solutions that do not observe the long term. This is a clear example of the risk we have beginning September 1st. Improvisation, lack of responsibility, and maybe, let's hope not, an authoritarian threat. But today, Mexico is very different, and we are confident that if we work on solid freedoms and institutions, we will have a better world. And although our democratic experience has been brief for more than 70 years, with an authoritarian party in government that the Nobel Prize laureate Mario Vargas Llosa called a perfect dictatorship, and the gradual democratic opening, we hope to have a solid country with strong institutions, with divisions of power, rule of law, international treaties, and consolidated freedom. Civic nationalism. Yesterday I was speaking with Karen, the manager of the Board of Governance and Planning, and she was telling me that the ethos in Canada is peace, order, and good government. That is very important. And the historical experience tells us that the only valid nationalism is the civic one, the one who identifies us because it makes us equal before the law. The growth of the economy and of insecurity at the global level have meant that the only regulatory thread is the rule of law. And since 1989, we are immersed in a huge incremental process of globalization that has consolidated trade as the first major transnational achievement. Unfortunately, and in some cases, the second transnational achievement is the advancement of organized crime, and we better prepare ourselves for that. So following the concepts of Robert Pastor, it is our duty to find a new story, a new history. It is not the bilateral agreement of NAFTA that since 1993 generated economic growth for the three nations, but the geographic reality that has made us coincide and face problems together beyond the legal scaffolding. The future is uncertain. Eleanor Roosevelt would reflect that the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of its dreams. This has to be a new beginning, a new place, a new story that all the graduating class will begin to write from now on. Ángeles Mastretta, a Mexican lady who's highly recognized in literatures, a few years ago expressed, nada ganamos luchando por separado para caer vencidos juntos. We gain nothing fighting separately only to fail all together. And where does the university come to place? Well, the university is this marvelous institution where we have liberty, truth, ideals, communications. Nobody is the sole owner of anything. However, we can make things together. And that's what la UI, la Organización Universitaria Interamericana, the Inter-American Organization for Higher Education, brought Alan Cajun and Juan Carlos Romero Hicks today, because everybody before the university experience has a different heart, a different mind, and a different soul. Let's learn from history. Let's look back on what other people did and also write our new story. In the Spanish literature, the most important fictional character is El Quijote. And I would like to think that everybody here today is going to be a new Quijote. And the Quijote shares his dreams, imposes upon them new challenges, and obviously, what we need to do is embrace new ideas. Why is the university experience so important? Because the challenge is to convert utopia into a good reality. Today, a new dream begins. Today, a new journey begins for all of us. We can do many things, but we're not going to fail. Que viva el Quijote, que viva Royal Roads. Muchas gracias.